Right now at 6, shaken awake by the sounds of gunfire. So why were people who live all the way across the city warned to shelter in place? Plus, it's a growing camp and one favored by homeless youth.
The side of the 405 is better than any shelter in town.
Why people who call this stretch home say they're not leaving without a fight. Then, meet the elite team trained to run toward danger and help other firefighters. And later,
made dreams come true, made history.
The heroes welcome. Hear from the local teen ball players who just brought home a national championship. Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news in the world of Major League Soccer. After more than 5 seasons, the Portland Timbers have fired head coach Giovanni Savarese. The team made this announcement about a half an hour ago, and it comes amidst a really disappointing season for the Timbers and on the heels of a 5-0 blowout yesterday in Houston. Assistant coach Miles Joseph will serve as interim head coach for the remainder of the 2023 season. Again, Giovanni Savarese out immediately. Our Art Edwards tracking these developments. We'll have an update for you a little bit later in sports. And we continue now with a Portland neighborhood sent into lockdown after an early morning shooting with questions about why people who don't live anywhere near there were also jolted awake, this time by an alert telling them not to leave their homes. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. 2 suspects are now in custody, and while no one was injured, plenty of nerves were rattled. It's after shots were fired around 1 this morning near Southeast Holgate and 112. Police say an officer who was driving by witnessed that gunfire and chased after the 2 suspects, a man and a teenage boy who hid in the neighborhood.
The officer was on his way to a different call when he saw the shooting happen, and so he was able to really quickly get resources here, and that really was the difference that was made.
Police quickly closed streets in the area as officers went house to house searching for the 2. The suspects were eventually taken into custody some 5 hours later. Okay, let's bring in Joe Ranieri now. Joe, an alert went out to people in the neighborhood during all of this. That is a good thing, but thousands who live nowhere near there also got that alert. Walk us through what happened here.
Well, David, there was actually 2 alerts. Now, again, the first one came out for residents in that area in Southeast Portland to shelter in place. Again, that was around 1 o'clock this morning. Several hours later, during the 6 o'clock hour, they got another one telling them that everything was clear. But the frustrating part for a lot of these folks, thousands of alerts went out to people who don't even live in the Southeast Portland neighborhood. Now we're learning it was all because of an error. Many people in Multnomah County Monday morning received a wake-up call they did not want to get.
The alert and warning system that we use to communicate with the public when there's life safety actions that they need to take.
That alert system was designed to go out to people in a 2-block area of where the shooting happened, in the area of Southeast 112th and Southeast Holgate Boulevard in the Powellhurst-Gilbert neighborhood. Instead,
there was an error in the system that unfortunately had set to go out, that same message that was meant to go to a 2-block area. It actually went out to around 10,000 phone numbers and email addresses in the Multnomah County area.
Thousands received a message from Public Alerts, which is a notification system residents sign up for. It's designed to send out alerts in case of an emergency.
Publicalerts.org allows you to sign up in the county of your residence and input as many contact methods as you'd like to be alerted in.
In Monday morning's case, some people who live nearby didn't get any notice, while others in Southwest Portland got one.
We're always trying to make things better. We're trying to refine the system's usage, provide training for our users. It was one of those settings that didn't do what it was intended to do.
Operations Manager Katie Wolf with the Portland Bureau of Emergency Management says once those alerts went out, they knew something wasn't right.
We figured out there was something wrong right away and saw that it went to too many people and started investigating the issue, and then we have resolved that issue now.
An error Wolf says was quickly figured out, but not before thousands of people woke up in a panic, wondering what was going on. David Wolf, you just heard there with the Portland Bureau of Emergency Management, tells me, now if you're registered for those emergency alerts that went out earlier this morning, you don't need to do anything to fix anything because they already fixed the problem earlier today. Reporting live in downtown Portland, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Thank you, Joe. Let's give you a look now at the aftermath of Tropical Storm Hillary and what it dumped all over Southern California and Nevada. Nearly a foot of rain in some spots, really leading to washouts in the San Bernardino Mountains east of LA and flooding that closed a stretch of Interstate 10 in the Palm Springs area. Dozens of people had to be rescued from high water, but thankfully, so far we have had no reports of serious injuries or deaths in the Golden State. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now, tracking what is left of Hillary. Matt?
Amazing storm. You know, ever since it became a Category 4 off the coast of Mexico, what you just showed us, what it did in Southern California, behaving pretty much as we expected it would. The modeling and the forecasting was good with this. The remains now moving out, believe it or not, through the Idaho Panhandle, northwestern Montana, and up into southeastern BC and southern Alberta, Canada, if you can believe it or not, still producing rain up there. Now, we've got another batch of rain, showers and thunderstorms developing over south central Oregon, but this is not related to the moisture from Hillary. This is related to that storm that was off the coast of California all last week, which helped steer Hillary up into eastern Oregon, Idaho, in the inland Intermountain Northwest. So that's what's going on with that. But the rainfall, impressive for August. I mean, we usually don't see this unless we have like a massive thunderstorm outbreak, and then it wouldn't be as widespread as what we had from the remains of Hillary. But Hurl Butte, that's up in Wallowa County, northeast of halfway, over 2 inches of rain there. Owyhee Ridge, that's down in Harney County, about an inch. That's in Malheur County. Basque Hills in Harney County, about an inch. Just across the border from Oregon, Snake River, 2.4. McCall, Idaho, 2.25 inches of rain. Super impressive. Other spots you probably have heard of a little bit more. Notice how there's nothing west of the Blue Mountains, not much in the Blue Mountains, but LeGrand and Baker City got hammered, especially Baker City and all the way down to Ontario, over an inch of rain in that area, and also down in southeast Oregon, as you can see, 7/10 of an inch in Rome. Now, the other story is the smoke, which is clearing. We've got more warm weather on the way, but I think the smoke is pretty much done, the thick smoke for now, and still no rain west of the Cascades, with one exception, which I'll show you later. David, back to you.
Thank you, Matt. Let's get to your headlines this evening, starting in Salem, where police now have a homicide investigation on their hands. Authorities say 22-year-old Janet Ramos Hernandez from Gresham was found unresponsive in a hotel room on Saturday. This was at the Shiloh Inn on Market Street, just off I-5. Detectives today announced her death was being considered a homicide, but they didn't say anything about a suspect. Some 150 Portland police officers are now wearing body cameras. Until today, Portland was the largest municipal police department in the country without body cameras. Officers are required to turn on cameras for every call. They'll also be automatically activated whenever an officer pulls a gun or taser, or when their cruiser lights go on. If all goes well with a 2-month pilot, the program will be expanded to all officers in October. Oregon's governor now has signed a number of public safety bills into law, including an overhaul of the public defender system. The new law will gradually phase out the state's reliance on contractors and directly hire lawyers to work as public defenders for the state.
We know that when one pillar fails, from a lack of public defenders to a lack of sensible gun laws, everyone is less safe.
Another law increases penalties for possessing ghost gun parts. Another closes a loophole created by Measure 110 by making it a criminal offense to possess between 1 and 5 grams of fentanyl. We have some progress tonight to report on the Lookout fire that's burning northeast of Eugene, with more than 1,000 personnel now fighting on the lines there. Containment at 5%, with more than 11,000 acres burned near Mackenzie Bridge. Level 3 evacuation orders there remain in place. The Mackenzie River Trail, the Blue Pool, other spots also now closed due to that fire. A little bit to the southwest there, the Bedrock fire has now burned 30,000 acres, and some good news there, it's up to 35% containment. You know, speaking of the Bedrock fire, let's bring in China Green, because China, you just talked to a specialized crew who returned from fighting that fire. They weren't there, at least not directly, to fight the blaze, though. Explain.
Yeah, that's right, David. That's something that you might not think about when it comes to these fires. A firefighter's job is to take care of a fire and prevent the spread, among other things. But who takes care of the firefighters when they need a situation to help get out of? Well, it turns out that it's a team called REM, or REMS, which stands for Rapid Extraction Module Support. So this all started back in 2020 by the Scappoose Fire District. In addition to all of the required wildland firefighter training, staff are certified in rope rescue and as paramedics and emergency medical technicians. 3 years in, they're starting to partner with other agencies interested in being a part of REMS, like Clackamas Fire District 1. The team of 4 is utilized to remove a firefighter from harm's way in the steepest of environments or in areas where traditional ambulances nurses and medical staff are not able to reach. And this is not a one-size-fits-all rescue operation. Every situation is different. You have got to think on the fly.
You think outside the box. You know, it's not the standard, hey, we show up, we tie a rope here, and then we go over the edge. It's, well, how can we do this without using the ropes? Or, yes, we have the ropes, but can we utilize the hand crew that's there? You could have 20 or 40 people. Well, let's use them to do a human chain and caterpillar that person up the line, using the rope as a backup.
And then this thing you see whipping across your screen right now, I'm actually in the back being rescued. We did a little practice run, but they have this UTV, which is like a lifesaver on wheels, I call it. They've actually engineered it for their specific needs. And David, I also learned that medical attention for firefighters, it is not always fire related or because of a fall. Some of the most challenging events that can happen on a fire is if a firefighter steps on a bee's nest or maybe a hornet's nest. A lot of people are allergic here, and they could be 1,500 feet down a hillside and they need to be rescued. So the REMS unit is a great addition and resource to our firefighters out there on the fire lines. And they also told me that they did not have to rescue anyone while they were out there at the Bedrock fire. So good news there, David.
Yeah, it is great news. Thank you, China.